Hello, everybody, and welcome back. It has been a very tough month of January, considering that Bitcoin and the stock markets across the globe have absolutely been plummeting down to earth. Well, we're going to discuss that today, right now, and we're going to look and see what some of the coins are doing. And if you haven't already, hit the bell, subscribe, drop a comment below. All right, so Bitcoin today is sitting at 37,951, which is actually doing a little bit better than what it's currently been doing in the past week. Bitcoin has really been struggling, given the fact that it actually had fallen well around 35,000. Now, given the fact that it has done this before, it's nothing really new. We've discussed this too. So back in, let's see, July of last year, it hit around 28,000, right, or 30,000. So it's not really that bad. So it is the lowest it has been since then. But given the fact that it's January, it's typically definitely a crypto winter that we're reaching. We spoke about that in the last video, but it is starting to show signs that it is potentially recovering, as you can see. Now, we do have these candles. There were a little bit of uncertainty given the past couple of days. Like, so January the 24th, right, we had that uncertainty as it started, closed in and close out time. We did have that. Now, the volumes are looking a little erratic, which are kind of really shows a really volatile state. The bears are in the market right now, and right now we do have some pluses coming in to even close back in to around 45. It's not too far out. That's what we were talking about. Like the past couple of videos, we're saying, it can take a week or two for it to really kind of really start to recover from what we're going into. And that's what we're looking at. It's a typical thing. It's kind of like sideways downward angle away, but it is starting to bounce back up. Right now, support is acting at around 35,000. That's not what you want to hear, but hey, it is crypto. It is what we have, especially given the news, potential war. We have inflation going on. We have the Fed speaking about everything. It's just part of what we're having. But it does show signs, a little plus. But what I don't like is that the volume here is not the greatest for the buyers. We still want to see it kind of honestly stay right around a healthy way, but it's kind of erratic. But it did shift either way, and we don't want it to shift back. When we're looking like right here, the same for the volume. This little moment, see, where we had that like thinking that it was that little trickery moment. It was going to get better, but then it kind of like played us a little bit, and this is what I'm worried about here in the next, because as this volume of the buyers kind of like getting lower and lower and lower, it looks like it's going to go back to the sellers, and that's not what we want in a long shot. So if it does continue to go up, if it goes up here in the next 3 or 4 days, when we have another 3 or 4 days of it going up, I think it's potentially going to shoot up. We're going to have at least a little bit of a bull run coming up, at least getting us back to around 40,000. And that's where we want, around 40, 45,000. And that's the goal here. Now, speaking about the other coins, Ethereum, of course, Ethereum's kind of been the thing kind of happening. It's kind of struggling a little bit too, but not quite too bad. Now, support's sitting at around 2,400 right now is where we're sitting up, doing better than it has been for the past couple of days. So it's showing signs as well. It's also has the same kind of candles kind of following suit, but Ethereum's just kind of been getting rejected here lately, and that's what we don't want. But it's going to potentially move up, given if it can just break out of this hassle, right? It's going back and forth. But over and all, if we're looking at the candles look rather healthy, nothing out of the ordinary. You can see that the selling candle right here, this one is what we're kind of looking at, that is out of the range, which shows volatility. It shows that it's going to be a reversal, and that's what we're looking at. So anytime we have these candles that are like way bigger than typically before, you can see that these are typically the same size, right, and the same kind of pattern. But when you have one that's really showing pretty strong, it's usually giving you a sign of reversal, and I think that's what we're going for. So it looks like we're going to exit out of this again probably in the next week or so, if all things are giving in a positive manner, of course. But Ethereum sitting today at around 25.99. Not good for Ethereum, but it could get better. Matic, one of my favorites, is also looking a little bit better. Everything's looking better across the board. The overall the overall support level is kind of sitting around 145, 150, which is much better than what it was. It was sitting today. It's sitting at 168, which is much better, showing the same patterns, right? I think we're still going to be down for a little bit. I think it's going to fall a little bit more, potentially around 140, 145. I think it's going to come back down a little bit. That's what I'm expecting. But the volume here, and this is what we're speaking about, the volume over and all is looking very healthy. This is natural right here. It's very healthy. It's not, we don't want like these huge just drops and ups and downs, as this is going to really show that it's not stable. It's not a stable market. But it's starting to clean up a little bit, and that's what I like to see. Even back here, as it was climbing and climbing and climbing, but it's showing a little bit of stability kind of coming in here, and that's what we want to see. So Matic's looking more promising than the rest of the coins, but hey. Solana as well. Solana is really struggling out. Everybody loves Solana, but we're kind of fighting off in support too, around 90 bucks. It's sitting today at around 98.40. Still fighting it out. It's still a little bit of worrisome here. It's also looking like it's going to potentially stabilize, and it could potentially start going up as well, as I see it, especially from going from the MACD coming up. But we also had that fake out kind of happening right here. Back in November, we had that fake out as it was actually slowly crashing down. And then we had this fake out too in the middle of January as well. So around the 15th or so, we had that fake out for a little bit. But here, potentially, it could go on in. And I think it'll actually pick back up, considering following the rest of the coins being Ethereum and Bitcoin too as well. Looking at the market, so Bitcoin's sitting around 38.3, 38,308. So it's up by 4.82% for the 24-hour, down by 9 and 16 for the week. Ethereum's up by 7 and 90. Let's see, what else do we have? Cardano, of course, at $1.12. We knew that it's not really going to go up, but it is down by 21.38% for the weekly, and 8.10% for the 24-hour period. Of course, Solana has hit pretty strong in the last week by 28% down, and it's up by 7.91%. So still better, much better given the daily. XRP is up by 4.5%, down by 15 and 20 for the weekly as well. Dogecoin is also doing pretty good, given that it's 8.99% and down by 9.11 for the weekly. DOT's up by 7.06, down by 20.73. AVAX is doing pretty good, down by 17.42 for the weekly and up by 8.43 as well. Matic's doing much better, especially on the daily, at 13.61% and down by 21.31. So it is starting to recover. It's starting to kind of trying to make up for these as well. Litecoin's up. Near Protocol is much better. It was down by 30% for the weekly, or it is now, and it's up by 13.72. So everything is really kind of showing that it's starting to really kind of reversal out. Given that Russia's banning, China's already banned, all the things going on, it's doing much better, but this is pretty typical of the things. I think we can continue to move forward. We can stay positive. We can hold on. I know everybody's panicking. People have went silent across the board. I know a lot of my friends, and they're in Bitcoin or in crypto. So we're just going to see it come up. So it's nothing new. We've seen this before last year, the year before that. It's the same pattern, guys. So don't sell everything out and lose your mind. Thank you again. Subscribe, drop a comment, and I will see you guys next time.